Yo, so I know that I was meant to do a little haul of what I got for Crimbo, but I did not. Why? Because I forgot, and I low-key cannot be bothered. So sorry about that. But I got a few good stuff. Had a good Christmas. Hope y'all did too. So I've decided that I'm gonna start posting little story times from time to time, and a little story. I feel like I'm getting a bit more basic every time I post a video, because I'm getting my eyebrows back. These are my natural eyebrows, guys. Are you happy? They're so nice, aren't they? What am I on about? I don't know. This is my natural hair. I'm blonde now still, but it's different lengths, because I used to have seen hair, but I'm not really seen anymore, so yeah. Anyway, a little story time is I went for a autism assessment the other day. I still don't know the results. I will find out soon, and I'll let y'all know another time, maybe in a few months when I can be bothered to post a video again. But it was kind of strange. It was a strange process. I got asked if an alien came down from outer space to my house, and I had to teach her how to make a cup of tea or to brush its teeth. What would I do? So I had to teach her how to brush its teeth. But the whole time I was thinking, if an alien came down from outer space here, I think it probably knows a lot more than me, so I don't think I'd have to teach it how to brush its teeth. But anyway, I said, how would you teach it how to brush its teeth? Hold on, I'm going to stop it, because, hold on. Sorry. I had to teach it how to brush its teeth. And I was like, well, does it have arms? Because you never know. Because in Doctor Who, there's some aliens that don't have arms. So, yeah, it's a good question. I said, yes, it does have arms. I was like, okay, now we're talking. So, I was like, well, you get your toothbrush, you get your toothpaste. But I didn't show the actions. I just said, you get your toothbrush, you get your toothpaste. You put the toothpaste on the toothbrush, and then brush your mouth. No, you brush your teeth, not your mouth. Yeah. They said, how would you describe it? Look, I forgot what happened, really. It was a few weeks ago. So, actually, it was the 19th of January, so not even a month, but said, but how would you act out how to brush your teeth? I was like, bro, I don't know, I'm sorry. And then another one was laminate paper with a shape on it, with little shapes inside of it, and there was black shapes and red shapes. And it gave me a bunch of them, and I was like, let me know if you need any more. There was 2 over there, and I kept looking at them well, I'm obviously gonna need them if he's asked if I'm gonna need them. So I put the ones that I already had in an order, in a little design. I liked it. And then there was a black one and a red one over there. He said, do you need any more? I was like, yeah. So got the other 2, but it was a black and a red one, and it wasn't the right thing, so I had to rearrange it. And I said, what do you think this looks like? So in my head I was thinking foam, but it was in a weird shape like this, and it had little triangle things. I was like, well, it looks a bit like a spider, but I didn't say that. I thought that, and I was like, it looks a bit like a spider because it's black with a red line in it. But I didn't say anything. I was like, I don't know. And then she was like, well, because there was 2, the lady went, some people say it looks like a rocket. I was like, okay, yeah. And that was that. Another one was this sheet of paper with this holiday. It was some people in the ocean, some people on boats, some people flying in balloons, and kept asking me questions. What can you see that's going on? I was like, well, there's people in a boat, people in the water. The fish are bigger than the people, because the fish were like that, the people were like that. The hotel was say that was the hotel, the people were like that. And I was like, well, the people aren't going to fit through the door, and the fish are bigger than the people. And then the aeroplane was bigger than the hotel too, so it was out of whack. I had to stop for a good 5 minutes because somebody came upstairs, went in a wardrobe, started moving stuff around, went to the toilet, washed it. Oh my god, now there's a cat at the door. I can't concentrate, hold on. Anyway, another one was this book, and it's with frogs in it. It's called Tuesday, and it was 4:35, and then there was these frogs that were flying around, and then I was looking at this guy trying to have breakfast, and then he was and then he was reading it out, making up a whole story, and was your turn. I was okay, I'll try. So then I had to explain what's going on, and I think I was meant to make a story, but I was well, the frogs, I was just saying what was going on. I said, well, the frogs started chasing the dog, and the dog looked confused. He said, what makes you think the dog looks confused? I was well, it's looking backwards at the frogs. And I was so I don't know if you look confused or am I going mental dog? Yeah, probably. Yeah, and then it was they were all turning on the old lady's TV and stuff, and then they were flying, and then it stopped working, and then it fell, had to hop out, and then there was a pig that started flying, and then, yeah, that was it. And then he said, oh, that was another one. It was this lady, because it was a man and a woman, I don't know if I already said that, I forgot. Well, she said, that's what she said, dang! She said, do you know the quote, when pigs fly? I was yeah. She said, what do you think that means? I was well, pigs don't fly, so it's what you say when people lie, because I'm not dumb, I've heard that before. It's when my nan says, you telling porcupines? Oh, you can't tell a porcupine. A porcupine? Porcupine, hedgehog. But they were the tasks that I had to do. I think there was more that I should have done, but I started going and crying. So it was we can see you're stressed, so we're gonna cut it short. But they did ask a few questions. One being, do you know what happiness feels like? I was wait, no, it was have you ever felt happy? I was yes. When do you feel happy? I was with my cats and dogs, or with my Sylvanian families. I was oh yes, your parents have told us about that collection. I was yes, how long have you been collecting? Quite a while. Speaking of which, I bought this from Vinted for £5. The rest's on the floor because it's I don't know what happened. I picked it up and I broke it, I think. But yeah. Wait, what? Wait, hold on. Anyway, so I said, yep, that's when I feel happy. And I said, cool, that's great. And can you explain what happiness feels like? I was you're smiling? And I was yeah, you smile. Anything else? I was no. Okay. And then I asked my mum, and she was well, happiness is when you're relaxed. You don't feel stressed. You feel on top of the world. It's okay. And then they said, have you ever felt sad? I was yes. Can you give us examples? I was no. Have you felt angry? Yes. Can you give us examples? No. Because I could get sad at anything. I could get happy at anything. I could get angry at anything. I get angry when people wash their hands too loud, like my mother just freaking did. And the cats keep scratching the door too. It's not on. But yeah, then they asked me if I had friends. Yes, I do. So finally, said, what else? I don't know. Oh yes, asked if I was ever bullied or picked on. I was a little bit. I said, sorry, we're so sorry you had to go for that. I'm fine. Leave me alone. But yeah, that was it really. And then I went home. I got to miss college for a day, so it's okay. So I still don't know the results, but I don't know if I am, because I know it's a spectrum, but I don't know if I agree with that, because I'll probably talk about that another time when I get the results back, but I'm kind of excited to know what's going on. If I don't have it, I'm okay. Okay, anyway, I don't know what to say now, so I'm gonna go. I might see you soon with some more story times. Maybe about some mean people. Okay. Bye.